Hi everyone, I'm Melissa June Rowley, coming to you from the Digital Media Zone at the United Nations General Assembly for WSIS+10. Joining me is Taffere Tesfachew, Director of Africa and LDCs. How are you?
Fine,
good,
thank you.
Good. And what do you see as the United Nations' main role in something as relevant and important as WSIS+10?
Well, WSIS+10, as you know, was a summit, an outcome about 10 years ago. It's the first time that the international community came together to promote the importance of information technology, the role of information technology, by creating this information society. And UN has a big role in this, in promoting information technology for development.
And would you say the Sustainable Development Goals are interconnected to what the conversation has been so far around how technology can push development forward?
Very much so. In fact, the high-level meeting now in the GA to review the 10 years of work on WSIS is going to be very much about how to fit information technology into contributing for the Sustainable Development Goals. As you know, there are 17 goals. They cover many, many areas on education, health, gender equality, sustainability, inclusiveness. In all these areas, information technology plays a critical role. So in a way, this 10-year review is in a way reaffirming the growing importance of information technology, but at the same time also recognition that still there are gaps. There are 4 billion people in the world that are not connected. So the digital divide is still there. Yeah. So this meeting, in addition to making sure that information technology contributes to these sustainable development goals, is also a way of understanding the challenges ahead.
What are the main challenges that you're seeing in some of the countries that you do a lot of work in, the least developed countries?
The main challenge, of course, is in the least developed countries, because that's where where the poor is. And in this group of countries, nearly 70% of the population lives in the rural area. That's where also connectivity is still a challenge. That's where going to be the hard work next 15 years. In fact, that's part of this SDG. So come 2030, when we look at SDGs, in a way, in terms of connectivity and poverty eradication, which are the goals, the LDCs are going to be, in a way, the battleground where the SDGs are going to be won or lost.
And we talked earlier about the digital divide and some issues around gender equality, how that's related. Are there areas in development that you're seeing advance because of technology? Are there areas that you're really seeing push the envelope and that are moving forward better than expected?
Yes, as I said, we have still a long way to go, but there is evidence in the last 10, 15 years that what we call leapfrogging, allowing people to actually connect with markets, connect with each other through technology, is helping people to make income, to improve their livelihood. The role of information technology is still a long way to go, but in some poorer economies has been very positive, and especially in terms of connecting people to the market.
And in terms of this particular meeting, these 2 days here, what are you hoping the outcome is? There's some very high-level discussion, there's side rooms with civil society groups and NGOs. What are you hoping the community can collectively decide? I
think the first thing is reaffirming what was agreed 10 years ago is still important. That's very important, and also reviewing the progress that has been achieved, and also looking at the challenges ahead. And secondly, which is really equally important, is now that in a few months ago, 2 months ago in September, SDGs were agreed. Now this high-level segment has to decide how to fit information technology for the service of Sustainable Development Goals. That's going to be very important.
Yeah. And for anybody out there, for the general public who might be interested in what the United Nations does, but just doesn't understand the language and some of the very interesting and kind of complex issues that you're tackling, what would you want people to know?
What I want people to know is that the United Nations is about going where the needs are the highest in terms of development, and doing our best. Of course, it's always resource constraints doesn't allow us to do everything we want, but it's all about connecting people. It's all about addressing the development challenges. For example, in the least developed countries, making sure that the little gains from growth is distributed in such a way that it's in an inclusive manner, that the poverty is reduced. And of course now with SDG we have an amazing sort of objective of eradicating poverty by 2030, which means that zero poverty everywhere. And that is going to be a lot of work.
Do you think we're going to make it?
Why not? Yes.
What are some of the least developed countries that you're working with the most?
Well, the least developed country is a UN category for 48 countries. There are 48 of them. These are the structurally weak, low-income economies. 34 of them are in Africa. Some 10 to 11 of them are in Asia, and some about 6, 7 of them in South Pacific. These are countries where the UN has recognized are going to need a lot of international support for them to catch up with middle-income countries. Our objective is to ensure that gradually these countries graduate into a middle-income country.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mervi Kultamaa. I'm the WSIS coordinator at UNCTAD in Geneva. I'm all excited to be here in the digital media zone of the overall review meeting. I would just like to say that we are very thankful at UNCTAD for the recognition that the Commission on Science and Technology has received here and the work that we have done during the past years in the CSTD.